All right, I've got like a dozen projects going on at any given time. Too many, I know. But seriously, 2 Airbnbs, a rental, a brick and mortar business, event production, a handful of content websites, and now one of them that even has its own print publication. Kind of exhausted just thinking about it. I pretty much have no choice but to automate, especially if I'm wanting to grow these blog sites. And I do. I have a goal to get my sites to 1 million monthly page views by the year 2024. So follow along because I'm tracking the entire journey. If I automate, then I can focus on things that make money. Partnerships, sponsorships, better affiliate relationships, focusing on courses, and building out the YouTube channel for my brand. Woo! All right, so let me show you exactly how I'm automating, and I'm going to walk you through my team process and what it looks like on a weekly basis. I'll also share some of the tools that we use that makes this all possible. By the way, what's your favorite tool for business? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious if I use it, have heard of it. Let me know. All right, let's talk automation. So I never would have made my first $1,000 online with my blog website without automation. Just would not have been possible. There's research, writing, SEO and growth strategies. There's content improvement, networking, sales, your site speed. All of this is needed to grow. So a few years ago when I got serious, I realized that for me, writing was my #1 roadblock. So it's the first thing that I figured out how to bring on outside help. My #2 roadblock was formatting blog posts, getting them ready, and then getting them published. So I created a system for both of these. Now I'm a firm believer that you can't outsource something until you have done it yourself successfully, but the key is that you need to create a system and a process and keep notes of how you're doing it and how you want it done. So for writing, we have a shared Google Doc with instructions of how we want things to operate, the formatting of our posts, notes about how to lay out, image sizes, how we resize them before we upload them. The cool thing is that this doesn't have to be in stone. Like I still adjust our process as we make improvements. I just edit our Google Doc and then we keep rolling. For formatting, I use Yoast SEO. We do use it as a part of our process in formatting. We check the meta description. We check our slug, so our URL, and make sure that's short, has our keywords in it. We check our spacing for our headers and our text. We make sure our images are sized the way that we want them. We do 650 pixels wide. We upload only JPEGs. We go ahead and compress those images before we upload them. Again, it's part of our process. We make sure that the alt text is perfectly, has some descriptive alt text that explains what the image is. Make sure the post is in the appropriate category. We add a tag or tags, and then we make sure the post is interlinked. All of this is a part of the formatting process that we do before the post is published, and a team member does this. Now, once I had done this a lot myself, I was then able to record the process of me doing it. So instead of just writing all of that down in steps, for the formatting process, the easiest thing to do is just to do this. Record a video, a screen share video. I use Loom, loom.com. In fact, I'll put a link below. I think maybe you'll even get some free videos. I'll make a note, remind myself to make sure I add that link. Loom is the simplest way to record your screen, and then you can send it to your team and just say, hey, watch this. And then you can always update that video as needed in the future. Once I got this process going, and I was then the next step in the line. I was the next guy that did the final edits. I did publishing, and then I did further strategic interlinking and updating of articles. So that was my next hire. That was #3, the #3 step in automation. You only get here once you have a lot of posts already published, and it becomes too time consuming for you to do the final reviews and publish, and then to update older content, make sure it's staying up to date, make sure everything is interlinked correctly. As you get a new affiliate partner, you might need to go back and add that to previous posts. So that's what this strategic partner does. The next item is tech stuff, website updates and all of that. I do a lot of our website updates. My team does a lot of the updates. Everyone is empowered in their position, either to put their post in a draft position in WordPress. We use WordPress. I assume that you will also be using WordPress. But I've now hired a developer for new site builds and site designs, because that could take me a half a day, maybe even more, And so I brought on a team member that can do that. And now I have a habit of, if there's something that's some sort of adjustment that I'm going to have to dig in and figure out, and maybe it's going to take me 15, 20, 30 minutes even, I allow that team member to now do that. So now I just message that team member, say, hey, here's what I'm needing to do. And the developer does that for us. Next item is the holy grail of creating blogs and content sites. It's keyword research. I love keyword research. Love keyword research. Like, there's nothing more fun than finding a pocket of keywords that you hadn't thought of before, but it'll work perfect for your website. And you're like, man, I can rank for these. It is so exciting. But even keyword research, if you want an automated business, you have to get help with that. So I have a team member that does the first layer of keyword research. Don't get me wrong, I'm not out of it. I still make notes on my phone for keyword ideas. I'll still hop in our tools and do some of my own research, but now I have more manpower behind keyword research. So that level 1 of keyword research is done. It comes to me, and then I pick and choose from those keywords what we want to write and what gets added to our content calendar. So I'm still very much involved in that aspect. And this is where it gets exciting. I put all of those pieces together. So all of those handful of people, it's 4 people, they've never communicated with each other because they were always communicating with me on each of their jobs. Well, to automate the process, I had to get myself out of the way. So what I did was, again, a Google Doc, created a process and steps and set up folders and added everyone to the folders, and then we all connected on Slack. So the whole team communicates through Slack. When there are new articles that are ready to write, I have a lead writer, and she works with 2 other writers on her team. She communicates directly with them. When they finish a round of articles within a week, the next team member gets notified in order to format those articles. Once he's done formatting and doing all that, it passes to the next team member who gives the final format, final look, final review, corrects any fact checks, and does final things like that, and then publishes the article, indexes the article, adds it to our spreadsheet and to our notes, and so, with data that we're tracking, and then the process keeps going. I'm notified every step of the way, so I can see, I can jump in, I can comment, say, hey, great job, guys, whatever. They can ask me questions. But instead of a roadblock, I'm now out of the way, so the process is working on its own. So how can we even take this to the next step? So we're starting to run multiple sites now, like more than a handful of sites. And I think as our automation and our process improves, we'll be able just to toss more sites into the process and continue to grow and use the same exact process. And if you notice, the tools that we mentioned, Google Docs and Slack, you can literally run $1 million business with Google Docs and Slack. And I don't know if you know this or not, but we have a goal to get our sites to 1 million monthly page views by the end of 2023. So by the year 2024, can we get there? I sure hope so. Follow along and watch this next. See ya.